The vast majority of parenting books are focused on the early years of childhood. And when your kids get older and they're in their tweens and maybe they're like young adults, our resources have absolutely dwindled. There's one book I recommend you read it before you need it, and that book is called Failure to Launch. This is a preemptive life lesson kind of book. It's well written, it has great examples and practical tips for parents of kids of pretty much any age. I read this book before my oldest went off to college, but like just barely. Oftentimes we look at parenting books as resources for the moment we're in, but I suggest looking at parenting books for the next stage because you can learn ways to avoid the problems that happen in that next stage. So Failure to Launch talks about kids that failed to launch and what you can do about that now. You see very quickly that there are a handful of things that you can implement early on, like when your kids are still at home before they've even had an opportunity to fail or become a boomerang kid. One of the big ones is more responsibility. Have you guys watched Shrinking on Apple? It's a great show. It's funny. It's thoughtful. It's just a good, easy watch. But the most recent episode we saw, which I think is in the last season, I was fully annoyed. So let me set the scene for you. Empty nest parents have a boomerang adult son. Boomerang means kind of what it sounds like. They go and they come back. For whatever reason, they couldn't make it work on their own and they need some extra support. The show is about therapists. One of the therapists, Harrison Ford, gives this Gen X couple some really bad advice. And I am not a therapist. I took 2 psych classes in college and I'm pretty sure I don't remember a thing. But I have done a lot of research and I have had hundreds of conversations with other moms. And I am telling you, his advice was horrible. When the kid came home, both of the parents shifted into their old caretaker role. Mom was doing all the laundry and dad was making food for the young adult. And here's the thing, that's a real problem. Harrison Ford sees what's happening and he's like, no, you are doing your son a disservice. You need to kick him out. He needs to go figure it out on his own. The dad hears the advice. He goes to the kid and he said, you got to go. How about instead he sits down and he said, hey, we love having you home, but you need to know that your mom and I have been living on our own for quite some time now, and the rules have changed. So we need to all sit down and go over expectations and what the new rules are in the home. That way you're treating them like an adult. You're involving them in the conversation, and then hopefully you and your partner, or if it's just you figured out what your expectations are. Do you expect them to be up early? Do you expect them to apply to a certain number of jobs every week? What about the contributions around the house? How about paying any kind of rent? What do you expect of your young adult? And then you sit down and you communicate that. Then you move forward. And if they're not doing the things that you guys all talked about and agreed with, then you can kick them out. But just jumping to that doesn't work. So let me reiterate. Look at books at the next stage of parenting and see if there's anything you can implement now to help avoid future problems down the road. It's not that we don't want our kids to moving back in with us. It's that we do not want to be put back into the same parenting role we have been living in for 18 plus years. It's time for everybody to move on to the next stage of life, and that includes us.